Alrighty, welcome everybody back to the MillerFootball channel. We're doing another mock draft, our third of the off season, and I've got another guest today, my boy, TheGeekSlays, my co-host over on the Run the North podcast, and we're going to be doing something different. The first mock draft I did was me by myself. The second one was me doing the odd numbered picks and my guest J Pow NFL doing the even numbered picks. And today, Geek and I, for probably the first time in the years that I've known him, are going to try to come to a consensus on something. So there is a world where this video is 6 hours long. We'll see. Hopefully it doesn't last that long. But before we get into it, Geek, how are you doing today, man?
Doing pretty good. Doing pretty good. WrestleMania weekend, so that's been... We just talked about it. It's been mid.
Yeah.
I hope tomorrow's better. It should be, but... I don't know if we can come to a consensus. I think we can on quite a few spots, but
Yeah.
I think there's gonna be a couple spots where we argue for a good amount of time, I think.
Yeah, I'm sure that'll be the case. Thankfully, though, if we actually get into this, we're going to be doing 2 rounds today. Also, going to be talking about some guys that, Jackson and I didn't get a chance to talk about last week. But I would imagine with this first pick, we're pretty much in agreement. We all know what's going to happen. But do you maybe have different thoughts other than going Cam Ward here?
It's gonna be Cam Ward. I don't think it should be. I think we talked about this on Run the North this week.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think any of the QBs in this class are that good, but I just don't have that much faith in Cam Ward, especially for the Titans, where you're not going to be that much better next year by taking Cam Ward, and that's going to put you in position to get one of the much better quarterbacks coming out next year. And I don't really love that for them, but they're taking Cam Ward, and I'm not gonna argue it in that way.
To be fair, this isn't a predictive mock. This is what we would do.
Oh,
So if we want to shake it up a little bit,
if we're doing what we would do, it should be Travis Hunter.
I can absolutely get behind that. Just taking the best player in the class. Do we want to go that route?
Let's do it.
All right.
Let's make the internet hate us.
Go a little bit different. Go with Travis Hunter, a true two-way superstar. I agree with you. Like, I'm not as low on Cam Ward, obviously, because I know you're very low on Cam Ward, but I don't think he's
come
the
around
best player in this
slightly.
class.
I still have him rated lower than a couple other guys in this class, but not as bad. I don't really think any of them are that good, though.
Yeah, I've told you before, and I put up my QB rankings the day that we're recording this. I don't have a single true first round grade on a quarterback this year.
Yeah,
so
I don't.
It's not
have
a
a true one
group.
either. If I was a team, if I was 99% of teams, there's one guy I would take just because of the upside.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I'm not sold.
So then at number 2 here, Cleveland has a bit of an interesting situation because realistically, you brought up with the Titans that one of the reasons you don't think they should take a quarterback is because they have the potential to be bad enough to get a real quarterback next year.
Yeah.
Realistically, if the Browns stay healthy, they're a lot closer to being either middle of the pack, no matter who their quarterback is, or a little bit above that. So do you think it's worth taking Cam Ward here, or would you rather go a different route?
Who do the Browns have on the roster? Watson
At
doesn't count.
quarterback,
He doesn't. He's not
Kenny
going to play.
Pickett and Joe Flacco.
So that's why I would take a quarterback. Flacco is interesting to a degree, but I don't want to go into the season with him as my no matter what starter. I'm sorry, Kenny Pickett's not an NFL quarterback. Whereas like Will Levis, there's still the world where the talent kind of can come together there. I don't really think so, but like it's possible. Whereas, I mean, you're not getting anything that good out of Flacco in any world. So Cam Ward is probably the smart answer and the one that makes the most sense. This is something that has been stuck in my head though for weeks now. What if Genty goes too? Chubb's gone. They don't have a running back. Cleveland's entire identity for the entirety of their franchise is running back. They don't have one. And Genty and Flacco, that might be enough to be a playoff team. And if it's not, you're setting your whatever quarterback comes in next with Genty. I'm not saying it should happen. It's just been on my mind.
I mean, it's
especially
possible.
With the consensus being Abdul Carter. I don't like that. And not that that's bad. 2 edge rushers is great. There's defensive scheme is not built for Abdul Carter. He's not the best pair with Miles. And there are so many other, like if they're going to take a defensive player, it should be Mason Graham.
I don't disagree with that.
So I know we're letting Abdul Carter fall, but it's going to happen. I think maybe unless like the Titans take him, but what would you prefer to do? Since apparently stuff keeps happening in your house and I'm carrying this moment.
Honestly, if I had my choice in this moment, I would just take Cam Ward.
Then let's do it. It makes sense.
Quarterback on the team, because look, we know Watson's not an NFL quarterback anymore, and Joe Flacco, like you said, is not someone you should have as the true starter on your team. Kenny Pickett is barely rosterable, and not only from the perspective of what I would want to do if I was in that front office, but I think like the current regime, if Cam Ward doesn't go at 1, they look at this like we have a chance to atone for our sins of giving up everything for Watson. And if Ward can pan out, then you can look at it as, look, we messed up, but it all worked out in the end because, you know, paying Watson all this money led us to a franchise quarterback. So I think that would definitely be the route I'd go at number 2.
And if they're taking a quarterback, Cam Ward does make the most sense. Shador wouldn't work there. No. You need a very particular kind of coach and front office, and the Browns do not have that. And then when you're looking at Milroe and Ward, well, I think Milroe has the much higher ceiling. I think Ward, when you're talking about the Browns could be pretty close to like being a real team. I think Ward gives you the best chance to be like the Broncos with Bo Nix last year.
Absolutely.
Where he's not coming in and being Jaden Daniels or Caleb Williams, but he's coming in and being good enough. And that's probably what happens unless the things I am most afraid of happen, which I don't think are realistic. I just think they're possible. I don't see that being how it goes, especially with Stefanski still being there. So I think Ward does make a ton of sense. He makes way more sense for Cleveland than he does for Tennessee, to me at least.
Yeah, and I don't disagree with that. Unfortunately, though, I don't think they'll have the chance to take him.
Oh, God, no.
Almost certainly going to be a Titan.
Unfortunately for him.
Yeah, but here at number 3 with the Giants, this is where things get interesting because there's a lot of rumors in real life about the Giants potentially trading down, specifically with the Panthers if Abdul Carter's here at 3. And that could maybe put them in a better range in their minds to take, you know, a Shador Sanders or a Jalen Milroe, recoup some extra capital. I don't know if I'd want to go that route, though, because I don't think Shador is a first-round quarterback, and I think trying to trade down for a quarterback is a little bit silly. But what are your thoughts here? What would you do if you were the Giants?
So, if I'm the Giants, I'm not even considering a quarterback. Not even a little. The trade down is interesting. I think the Panthers would be really dumb to trade up for so many reasons. Abdul Carter's good. He's not give up the assets it would take to get into the top 3 good. We talked about this last year with the Vikings and the Drake May thing. The Vikings were the only team with the assets to go up. And remember, that was 3 first-round picks, including 2 in that draft, was if it was going to happen, this is what it's going to cost.
Right.
The Panthers do not have the roster to make that move. This isn't the Texans going for Will Anderson or Stroud, whichever one they traded up for. It doesn't matter. They both got drafted in the back-to-back picks. It doesn't matter which one was which. But their roster's not ready for that. The Giants, I have 2 thoughts.
Please share. I'm very curious.
So the smart answer would be go Will Campbell. Okay. Evan Neal sucks.
Yeah.
is just the worst. And you have Russell Wilson now. You have what is, if you're looking at this from the GM and head coach's position, a guy who is good enough to let you keep your job. That is what you get with Russell Wilson. He's not going to cost you your job. He is going to play mediocrely, have some big moments, especially with Malik Neighbors on that team. I think that part will be fun. Russ needs protection, and Andrew Thomas is incredible. Unless you think there's a better right tackle option, Will Campbell is probably the smart choice, but you're going to like this idea.
Okay.
What about Tyler Warren?
Ooh, okay.
I know it's really early.
That's really rich. But I don't hate it. I'm also just irresponsibly high on Tyler Warren. So like I am all
have
for...
a tight end on the roster.
Wow, no love for Daniel Bellinger?
No.
Wow. Okay. I think personally I would want to go with the offensive line if we're talking about not going Abdul Carter.
And we don't need to be irresponsible. I'm being irresponsible, and I understand this. I will get to be irresponsible in a moment. It's okay.
Okay. So I think I know what we're going to do at number 4. But at number 3, Will Campbell, LSU is what we're in agreement with here.
Yes.
All right. So number 4 with the Patriots. I think I know where your brain's at.
Do you?
Maybe I don't.
I don't think you do.
Interesting. Okay. Then please enlighten me.
My brain for the Patriots is you take the best guy available and you take Abdul Carter.
Yeah.
This isn't where I'm getting irresponsible.
I disagree with that at all. Okay, then that's 100% what I'd do here. Abdul Carter falling to 4 would be huge for the Patriots. The less time Harold Landry spends on the field, the better your football team will be. And I know they just paid him a ton of money. I don't care. You take this opportunity and you fucking run with it.
You need many edge rushers anyways. This is fine.
Yeah, I mean, Philly showed us in the Super Bowl this year, the best thing you can have is 17 players that can rush the passer.
I was going to say, look at the best defenses in the NFL last year. All of them had a rotation of guys. It wasn't just they had the big 2. Minnesota had like 6 guys with 6+ sacks. Like, that's just what you do. You get a bunch of guys who can just go all the time. We have another spot where I'm bringing up the same name again.
We have another spot where I am very willing to go with that name. If we're talking Tyler Warren here at 5 at Jacksonville. Yeah, I mean, losing out. We did this in the mock I did with Jackson because I had this pick. I love the idea of Warren to Jacksonville. You know, losing Evan Ingram and not having like that true tight end you can rely on. Brenton Strange is fine, but Warren can just do so much for your offense. He can play tight end. He can play out of the slot. You can split him out wide if you want. You can put him in the backfield if you need to. Like, you can do a little bit of everything with him. And I think that is too good to pass up on. Like, you want to add an offensive playmaker outside of a running back. He is, in my opinion, the best offensive playmaker in this class.
And I know that the Pro Football Network says they need a running back. I think you have a lot of assets there already. I don't think Genty is your smartest. I think there might be another moment where they could take a running back, but I don't think Genty is the right move. To me, Genty's got to be a bell cow. He can. I don't want Genty in a committee. I don't. It's like Adrian Peterson back in the day. He needs, like, watch every Boise game. Genty needs 10 runs that aren't that good. Yeah. Just so he can build up that. It's like he needs hit a lot so he can remember what he's doing.
Right.
And I don't think you can do that well in a committee. But also, speaking of Genty, tell me, say whatever you want.
How can I talk myself out of this? How can I talk us out of this? Let's see.
You can try it.
Okay.
I don't know if you can, but you're gonna get every opportunity.
I gotta remember who they have real quick.
Alexander Madison. No, they don't. He's on the Dolphins.
No, they have Raheem Mostert as their RB1. But hear me out, okay? Genty, wherever he goes, is going to benefit from having a great offensive line in front of him.
Sure.
The Raiders have DJ Glaze as their starting right tackle.
Okay.
I feel like that's a bigger need for everyone involved, is to go get a tackle, especially with the rumors, or not the rumors, the story that they just haven't started negotiating an extension with Colton Miller yet. Like, I am worried about what their offensive line is going to be beyond this year, especially at arguably the two most important spots at tackle. Like, I think their interior is solid, but I feel like adding some bulk at tackle, if, to replace Glaze or to be Colton Miller insurance, would be big time here.
While I agree, I don't think there's a good tackle on the board. Not one worth taking at 6. I don't think you reach just to reach. I did not think tackle was where you were going to bring up. I thought you were going to bring up corner, and I was going to be so willing to listen. I don't know
Corner
if I'm listening
also,
to tackle.
Okay. If we
I can listen to Will
route.
Johnson. I cannot listen to Armand Membu at 6.
Okay, dude.
At least not for the Raiders. I don't think they're that
that's just where
dumb.
my brain went immediately.
Fair.
But yeah, their boundary corners are Eric Stokes and DeCamerion Richardson right now, dude.
Yeah, without losing Hobbs and Jack Jones is not good.
Yeah, no, it is not ideal in the slightest.
So I'm really willing to listen to Will Johnson.
I think looking at this team, and it's not like they don't have their second round pick, right?
No, they do for now.
Yeah. So I bring that up. Yeah, they're picking at 37. They're picking pick 5 in round 2. There's going to be good backs available in round 2. The corner market in round 2, you're not getting Will Johnson.
True.
Now, you're not getting Ashton Genty either, but you can get Caleb Johnson.
I was going to say Caleb Johnson, to me, Genty is better. I'm not arguing that. But I don't think that is the biggest drop-off from Genty to Caleb Johnson. I know you're not as high on Caleb as I am, but
I was going to say Scadaboo would be probably my guy, or at the top of the second. But either way, one of those
we'll see who's there.
Right.
But let's do Will Johnson then.
Okay. I just think, listen, as much as part of me is just like, I want to do this for the sake of a certain team sitting at 10, it's also the responsible move. And it makes
I'm just trying to decide if the Raiders are responsible.
Well, again, we're in control of the Raiders, not the current Raiders regime.
That's fair. I did my I don't know when you're posting this, but I just did my own leaked the script mock draft, so
sure,
where I'm just going with what the teams I think will do, not what they should do.
Right.
What are your thoughts on the Jets?
I have a pick that I really like for the Jets, but I don't know if you're as high on this player as I am.
Give me.
Luther Burden.
Okay.
And the big reason why I like this so much is because Burden reminds me a lot of DJ Moore. I see a lot of DJ Moore in his game. He's really good after the catch, but he's also more than capable of winning downfield, of creating separation, running good routes, catching tough balls over the middle of the field. And Justin Fields, his most successful receiver that he has played with, like the receiver he has found the most success with, was DJ Moore. So adding a player like that Fields will be able to mesh with, and not only that, the idea of the explosives with him and Garrett Wilson at wide receiver, and the fact that the Jets don't have a real wide receiver outside of Garrett Wilson, I just feel like it makes a ton of sense.
Respect.
Malachi Corley is the only other name in that room I care about.
No. Who am I thinking of? He's not even on the roster anymore. Never mind.
Who were you thinking about?
There was a Wyoming receiver that was on their roster. I was just gonna give praise, but he's not there.
Yeah. But yeah, like Alan Lazard, Tyler Johnson, Josh Reynolds.
Yeah, I was gonna argue for a tackle, but they just brought in Okorafor. I'm not even gonna attempt to say his first name, but
just Chooks. Everyone calls him Chooks.
Chooks. Okay. But yeah, like they brought in a tackle who will probably be fine weirdly, this will probably be the best O-line Fields has ever played behind. That's tough.
Yeah.
That's rough. But
Yeah.
so yeah, you're probably right. I'm down for Burden.
All right, word. I love Luther
When
Burden.
it comes to receivers, my opinion, I have to be smart with, because I just also think it's also receiver. So just because I think 3 guys might be better, I don't know if I actually think it's 3. I'm just saying a number. But just because you think 3 guys might be better, you have to remember at receiver, teams are picking not based on just who's the best. It's who's the best at this thing that we need.
Right.
And so Burden makes sense here.
Yeah, I will say, I know when we recorded our position rankings, like our receivers for Run the North, I had Burden as my 2, but he's jumped up to wide receiver 1 for me.
I had him at my 3.
I really like Luther Burden.
That's fair.
All right, so Carolina here at 8. Since I gave the tipping point for the Jets here, what are you thinking for the Panthers?
It's gotta be Tet.
Yeah.
So in real life, Tyler Warren could also be interesting. But to me,
sure.
You just got Bryce Young looking competent. You cannot trust your young quarterback's development to 36-year-old Adam Thielen, a Jalen Coker, who we saw 2 good games from, and a Xavier Legette, who I am not 100% sure can be an NFL wide receiver yet. I am confident because of his ability to get open, he can figure out the catch issue, but you need a guy still.
Yeah.
And Tet McMillan can be that guy.
And I think what's really attractive about Tet too is if you look at like the routes he ran and the way he was used at Arizona, he was a heavy like over the middle target, and giving tiny little Bryce Young a 6'4" receiver that can win over the middle, it's like a cheat code. Like Tet at 6'4" is like every receiver for normal sized quarterbacks. You can actually see them over the line. So I like the fit with Tet a lot for the Panthers, getting them a true number 1 receiver. So you get to the Saints here at 9, and they need a little bit of everything.
Mm-hmm.
I know who the Saints pick is, like the one that just feels the most like a Saint, but obviously that's not what we're going for.
Who do you think that is?
Shamar Stewart.
Honestly, I can't see it. I want to see it, but you just paid Chase Young. You just paid Granderson. You still have Cam Jordan. But
Cam Jordan's old. Shamar Stewart's a project. So my thought process is you're expecting him to take over once Cam Jordan retires. Again, that's more like going off
we have
of the
to
way
think
the
about
Saints draft.
this. Me and you right now.
Right.
Not our opinion on Derek Carr as a player.
Uh-huh.
But our opinion on, do we think Derek Carr will be ready week 1? If Derek Carr's ready, the Saints think they can compete. If Derek Carr cannot play, they can't compete, and you just give up on the season, you take a project. That's the decision here. That or fix the offense. Well, either way, it's either fix the offensive line or take Shamar Stewart. I think we'd agree on which guy they should pick. Offensive line-wise, I would hope, maybe. Because they have 2 spots that are flawed.
The other thing, let me double check their depth chart here, because I do not recall. Yeah. Listen, as much as all that is great, what if they just go BPA and take Mason Graham? Because he's still on the board somehow at 9.
They just took Brzee. Plus they have.
They have on the interior Kalen Saunders and Nathan Shepard, and Cam Jordan's technically listed as 3-4 D end.
No, Graham makes sense. Maybe going BPA is just smart.
Because the way I'm looking at it, I don't think Carr's going to be ready week 1. Right? Because that seems to be where things are trending.
Even if he is, fixing the defense helps you if you're going to try to be competitive.
This is just a blue chip player falling into your lap at 9.
Yeah.
And he's somebody I just feel like you find a way to make him work.
You don't want me to have to argue Mason Graham over Genty for the Bears as your is your big goal. I see it, and I'm
No,
okay with it.
that's not true because I honestly might just take Mason Graham over Genty
That's
for
fair.
Chicago, if I'm being honest. But
I'm
I
just trying to think. What's the worst thing I could do for the Saints is what I want to argue.
Shador.
I don't. I don't think there's a world where that makes sense in any way. Like, my brain keeps saying just give him Mike Green because he's a piece of shit. But I also don't want to let Mike Green be a top 10 pick.
Yeah.
So, yeah, let's go Mason Graham.
I'm trying to think if there's anything else that could potentially be brought up.
Like, they don't have any corners at all. I don't think. Am I on drugs?
I mean, I know he didn't look super hot
Kool-Aid.
last
I
year,
forgot
but
about Kool-Aid. I forgot they
then
got him. Yeah.
Alontae Taylor isn't terrible.
Isn't he coming off injury, though?
Ooh, good point. I think if we were looking in the secondary, though, I would want to go with more of a nickel, like a Jade Barron, to replace Ugo Amadi. Which, honestly,
Jade could fill a couple holes, actually. And their secondary needs, I think, more help than their D-line does. Because I think you can get away with Brzee, Jordan, and Saunders. I'm not sure you can get away with. I got to go look at what exactly their secondary reads as right now.
It is Kool-Aid McKinstry, Justin Reed, Tyrann Mathieu, Alontae Taylor, Ugo Amadi, Isaac Yiadom, JT Gray, and they don't have a backup listed for Kool-Aid.
Or for Ugo.
Yeah, they're on an island. So I think Barron actually makes sense.
Okay, let's go Jade.
Yeah, I love Jade Barron.
I like talking myself into not giving them actual blue chip players. I like Jade, but there's a difference between him and Mason Graham.
And I think he fits a bigger need.
Yeah.
And he can be someone that, when Tyrann Mathieu eventually calls it quits, can be your chess piece in the secondary. Yep.
I'm gonna let you pick it here. Do you want the fun player or the right player?
I mean, they're both fun and both right.
You know what I mean.
I know. I'm just saying that's a bad way to put it.
The issue is there's not another Mason Graham that you're getting at the top of the second. You can come close to Genty.
No, there's not. Okay.
But I'm letting you pick it. It's your team.
I mean, this is tough because we're sitting here with my favorite team at 10 with the number 1 player on my board and the number 2 player on my board. And feasibly, either one would make sense.
Yeah.
I think, as much as I would love Genty, there are more weaknesses to his game, in my opinion, than to Mason Graham's. You look at the fumbles that are an issue, and I know you're an Adrian Peterson guy, so that doesn't bother you as much, but it's certainly there.
It still bugs me.
Doesn't have a ton of receiving upside. And we saw Ben Johnson, 2 years ago, stare Bijan Robinson in the face and trade out, let someone else take him, and then take a running back that fit what he liked a little bit more later.
Yep.
So it makes a lot of sense to me. And Mason Graham, I mean, we were talking about the importance of a, depth and rotation on the defense. The Bears right now, their interior, you have Jervon Dexter, who's going to be a full-time starter, and then a rotation of Grady Jarrett, Dayo Odengbo will kick inside from time to time, and Andrew Billings, and oh my goodness, the other defensive tackle whose name's escaping me that I want to bring up just so I can say he shouldn't see the field. Zach Pickens. Zach Pickens should not see the field anymore. So I'm going to go with Mason Graham.
Okay.
And it would break my heart if this happened in real life.
This would be the craziest draft watching Genty fall this far.
Yeah.
Especially after I just argued he should go number 1 overall.
Yeah. And especially, I mean, we're not taking him here at 11, obviously. Listen, the Niners have real problems. They cannot take their...
Yeah, but McCaffrey isn't going to be healthy ever again, and they just traded away their RB1.
Okay, but this is like the deepest running back class ever, and they do not need 4...
Yeah, I know. You're right.
Starting caliber running backs.
Yeah, but the guy they once gone.
Which one?
Will Johnson.
Yeah. Well...
Calvin Banks.
Yeah.
Because they are
Yeah,
gonna have a tackle opening. They have a bad tackle. They have a guard opening. No matter what, you're finding a spot
Yeah.
for him.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
he's super athletic, which fits Shanahan.
Yeah. And then Jerry Jones might have a heart attack and die.
He's not. And take Matthew Golden.
I mean, I know you hate it, but it's got to be Genty.
No, it's Genty.
I mean, it has
Dude,
to be.
he can't fall farther than this.
No.
Like, we know that.
No, and it just makes sense. Dallas is meant to have a good running back. If Genty wasn't here, I'd be pounding the table for a Marion Hampton. Like,
Dak's gonna be pissed. He's been wearing a hat that just says lineman, and he's getting a fucking running back.
Yeah. All right, so the Dolphins at 13, they have quite a few needs. So
I've had one answer all year that I just keep going to.
Okay.
And I haven't looked at their depth chart. It has just been off the top of my head, this is the one that makes the most sense to me.
Mm-hmm.
And that is, they don't have a real starting caliber safety.
Sure.
Malachi's right there. To me, he is one of the, I know you're slightly lower on Malachi than I am, but to me, he's a blue chip prospect. This is
I'm
the guy.
to take him here.
And so my answer at 13 is always Malachi.
Yeah, I'm 100%
Sick.
on board with him here at 13. And then at 14, I feel like this one's pretty obvious. If you look at what everyone was mocking to the Colts last year, they didn't end up getting it because a certain team from Vegas spoiled their fun. I feel like this has got to be Colston Loveland.
Okay.
Because, I mean, they don't have a tight end.
No.
Like, point blank, period.
Mo Alley Cox.
Austin Hooper. Austin Hooper all the way.
All right. That's just racist. That's all I know.
No.
Colston Loveland is great, so I'm okay with that. But
right.
Austin Hooper sucks.
So does Mo Alley Cox, you idiot.
Disagree.
Okay, whatever. Falcons at 15.
Jalen Walker.
Yeah.
He could possibly fit two different holes.
Yeah.
They gotta go defense this time around. Since
Georgia
everybody thought they were going
too.
Dallas Turner last year, they have to go defense this time.
It's perfect. It's perfect. Yeah. It's a perfect fit. Arizona at 16 here. They beefed up the defensive line finally in free agency. But I mean, honestly,
I think they keep doing it.
I was gonna say I would not be opposed to that in the slightest.
That is the Jonathan Gannon way.
Because you look at specifically their defensive tackles, they are like 90 years old apiece with Calais Campbell and Dalvin Tomlinson.
Yeah.
So I would go Derek Harmon here.
Okay.
Are you cool with that?
Yeah.
All right. I love Derek Harmon. I think the pass rushing juice he brings is undeniable. He is like a top 10, top 15 player on my board. One of the few guys that I have like a true first round grade on. I absolutely love Derek Harmon. As we get to the Bengals here at 17, got to be defense, obviously. Are you going to try to talk me into an offensive player?
Kind of.
Who?
Booker.
Wait, who? You
Tyler Booker.
Tyler Booker.
Or just a guard.
Okay,
an interior O-lineman.
Would work.
Right. So, again, this is me and you.
Ooh,
and
right.
I get defense is a problem. One defensive player isn't going to fix it for him. Protecting Joe Burrow, because you've got Cordell Volson and Cody Ford as your two starting guards.
Yeah.
To me, protecting Burrow is a bit more important. I know we've done this game before with the Bengals, but I also think overall there are other really good defensive players you can get a little later. I don't think there's that many huge drops between who's available and who will be available. I think guard falls off after the top couple of guys pretty quick.
Yeah.
So if you, whether you think Booker, Zabel, or like one of the tackles shifting, I guess I don't really care which guard. I just think some interior beef, since they keep avoiding adding any beef to this team, might be the answer.
All right, then yeah, I'm willing to go Booker here.
Okay.
Just as, you know, the best pass protector out of the group, pretty easily. Seahawks here at 18. I know what I'd do. but I don't think you'll like it very much because
What's your answer?
it involves moving off of a certain former Viking pretty quickly. Because I'd go Milrow here.
Oh.
I'm stealing that from Jackson, but like he brought it up to me last week, and I can't stop thinking about it. Because this is a team that was really high on Anthony Richardson when he was coming out, and they wanted to trade up and get him, didn't get the chance to. Milrow is a very similar prospect, and you know, Sam Darnold, as good as he was for 3/4 of the season, there is that end of year drop off that could be vindictive of the type of player he's going to be moving forward. You know me, I need to see a guy
Especially
be a guy for 2 years before I'm willing to call him a
it's
dude.
the thing I've talked about. I don't think the receivers mattered that much. Yes, Justin Jefferson was good for Darnold. But we also saw multiple games where Justin Jefferson missed the second half and Darnold looked better without him in certain ways by just spreading the field. Remember the 49ers game, Addison and Jefferson were out for 3/4 and Sam Darnold threw 4 touchdowns to Speedy Naylor and Brandon Powell.
Right.
That was a Kevin O'Connell masterclass. Do the Seahawks have a Kevin O'Connell?
They've got, I don't know if I'd call him a Kevin O'Connell.
That matters.
Yeah.
I don't hate the idea of going QB here. That is not where my brain goes immediately, but
I'm willing to hear you out.
my brain sticks with a bit of the beef. I think Gray Zabel makes a lot of sense here because they don't have an interior offensive line. There's questions with Abe Lucas. Zabel can play all 4 of the positions that you're not sure they have a guy at. And that could be like if Abe Lucas is fine, then boom, you have a right or a left guard or even a center if you're not into Olu. So Zabel makes a ton of sense, but so does Milrow.
I'm willing to go Zabel just because we went Milrow in the last one.
I have another idea that we will talk about in a minute. So let's go Zabel, and then when moments come around, I'll bring up ideas.
So I have listed as a guard. All right, so Tampa here at 19. I know where I'd go.
I've spoken a lot in the last 2. Give me your guy, and
I would go Carson Schlesinger, and not think twice about it. I mean, when we talked about linebackers the other night, I told you I think there's a lot of Levante David in Schlesinger's game, and who better to be the heir apparent to Levante David's throne than another really athletic linebacker who, you know, plays well sideline to sideline, really good motor, put on 15 pounds so you don't have to worry about how undersized he was anymore. He's aggressive downhill, really smart in coverage, might be the best zone coverage linebacker to come out in like the last couple years, has the fluidity to hang in man. Like I mean, he's my LB1 for a reason. I love Schlesinger. Okay. And I would love to go with him here, but if you have something,
my thought before this has been Nicky Manwari. Just because I think him pairing with Antoine Winfield would be sick. But I don't hate your linebacker idea. I'm not as high on Schlesinger as you are, but who cares?
I also just don't like Emanwari all that much.
That's fair. Like I said, I just think he can. I think the best way to hide his flaws is Antoine Winfield.
Sure.
Because you can let Nick do what he's good at.
Sure.
But I'm cool with it.
I don't know. I like the hot take here. I'm afraid.
Hot takes it is.
All right, Broncos here at 20. I feel like this one, I know exactly where my brain goes, but I would love to hear your thoughts. Yeah. I love Hampton. You know, he's not that far off from Genty in terms of like overall grade for me. I think he's an incredible football player, easily worth a first-round pick. And knowing you might not be the last running back we see in the first round. But we'll have to see.
I don't know. How hard do I have to work to convince you that this is Shador?
Why?
Because Tomlin is the only coach that's not true. There are 2 coaches in this draft that have teams where they either need a QB now or will soon.
Uh-huh.
who I trust the coach to be able to deal with what Shador is. Tomlin and the guy picking at 26.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. I just okay.
So here's my thought.
No, it's
you
a
already
good
did it.
pick. It's a
Okay.
good pick.
Okay.
I really don't like Shador in the first round, but Pittsburgh does make a ton of sense. I get where you're coming from.
He's a
100%.
perfect fit play style. Tomlin can deal with what the headache that Shador can bring. And
it's not so much the headache Shador can bring, it's the headache Shador's papa can bring.
Right, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Tomlin is the one guy. Tomlin is the one guy I'm 100% sure isn't gonna take the shit.
Yeah.
And is the one guy I'm sure just can handle Shador and bringing him back to earth. Hey, you're not these guys. Be what Big Ben was to me.
Right.
Big Ben wasn't Mahomes or any of these super talented guys. He was pretty accurate. And he could move a little bit. He's the Tomlin type guy.
Yeah.
And then you're not then Rodgers has nowhere to go.
I was going to say, that's the reason I'm okay with this, is because, in this situation, we're controlling the Steelers. I get to say, fuck you to Aaron Rodgers, and he gets to go be homeless. So that's the big reason why I'm in on it here. As we get to the Chargers at 22, what are we thinking here?
I'm thinking they're really sad that Colston Loveland went so early.
Yeah, they absolutely are.
I think to me there's two options.
Okay, let's hear.
Who did they? Yeah. I think they go Kenneth Grant or they go Igbuka.
Okay, I was going to say one of the D tackles. Just one of them.
That is the correct answer based on their coach.
Or I was honestly going to say this could be a Michael Williams spot.
Ooh.
Where you have maybe 1 to 2 more years of Khalil Mack. You got rid of Joey Bosa. He doesn't have to step in and be the guy right away, but he's someone that can, get in your rotation, probably back up Tuli Tuipulotu to start out. And then, you hope you can develop him.
So I guess that's the question, is if you think Tuli is that guy or not.
I like Tuli as a number 2, and I think Michael eventually can be a number 1. So I think as the heir apparent to Khalil Mack is kind of where my brain would be at with Michael.
Okay.
Are we with that?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay.
We have not taken many edge rushers is my biggest thing, which doesn't feel like that's real. So
well, I feel like here in the back end, a lot of these teams are going to see what Philly just did, and there's going to be a run. Baltimore will probably go one. Detroit, Green Bay could honestly be in the running for one here.
You want to give them
I could see the Rams. I don't think they want another project edge rusher.
Why not? That's literally all they draft.
I know it is.
When have they ever drafted one that was polished?
Right. My brain honestly would go corner here.
No, that makes more sense. Are we in agreement that 2 guys aren't getting picked in this mock?
The
one's an edge and one's a corner.
Edge from Marshall.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah. I'm glad.
Yeah. Let's keep away from those freaks.
All right. Is it Amos then? I'm trying to think of who fits here best. And I don't know. To me, I'm too biased when it comes to Green Bay. So my answer is just who fits the best on a bad defense. Because a corner's not going to make him any good. So
right. It's tough because ironically, the corner I think fits the best is the one we are agreeing not to pick because he reminds me so much of Jair Alexander.
I mean, we could pick him and just say, see, the Packers will pick bad people. Fuck the Packers.
No, I can't.
And then give him Mike Green later and just be like, see, they only pick pieces of shit. We control the Packers.
Let me check something here.
I don't actually care which cornerback they go with.
Sure.
Well, there's one that I refuse to let them pick. You know who that is.
Do I?
Yes.
Which one?
The one that you have is like corner 12. The Packers do not get him. Yeah, they're not getting.
Yeah, no. Honestly,
he's my favorite player. I refuse to let him go to the Packers. I refuse.
No, that's fair. Honestly, I would be looking at like one of Revel or Amos.
Yeah.
I like the upside a lot with Revel, obviously. So it's just kind of a matter
Do
of.
they go Amos just because less injury concern? I'm trying to think of how the Packers
That's why
would play
I'm
it.
bringing Amos
Their
up.
corners are very banged up already.
Right. So it would probably be better just to go with the safer player.
Okay.
Because
go Amos.
Revel with the injuries, plus you're also just straight up banking on upside with him anyways. So.
Yeah, that's fair.
All right. You have the floor. I'll let you take.
I have two
here.
ideas. No, you have to agree to both ideas.
Okay.
One I think makes okay. I have multiple ideas. One is the one that I like the most.
Okay.
And
this
that is
Thomas?
No.
Aw.
That'll come
really in
later.
agreement with that.
That'll come later, I promise.
Oh, I'm sure.
So that team that just was smart and picked their O-lineman that'll save their future quarterback.
Uh-huh.
They probably do want that fifth-year option on Milroe. They also just saw Shador go, which means there's no gap anymore.
So you think Seattle would trade up here? Okay. What are your
I
other
think
ideas?
there's a couple other teams who could want to move up just for other guys, which don't move the Vikings back as far and don't give them as big of a haul. But like, I could see quite a few of the teams at both the back end here and the early end of the next round going, hey, there's specific pieces around
Sure.
that are interesting. My thought process, and I did this, well, actually, I had the Raiders trade up in mind for Milroe, but
okay.
That is because Seattle, well, not because Seattle, that was because another guy fell extra, so that helped. But the logic of Milroe makes a lot of sense. I think they also just want to patch that hole with, again, a guy I'm really high on, and I think a lot of people are in Zabel.
Sure.
I don't know what the trade would look like. I haven't been able to look at it until now.
So I'm just going to say, for the purposes of this video, because we're only messing with the first and second round.
Yeah, it doesn't really matter.
We're just going to do 24 for 50 and call it a day.
Okay.
Just because those are the only two picks that matter to us here.
Yeah.
So let's go ahead and where is Minnesota? There we go. So
Cool.
we send 50 for 24. I did that backwards. Of course. Why would Minnesota accept that? That's silly on my part. I'll edit most of this out, hopefully.
That's all right.
But there we go. So now Seattle at 24, trading up, getting.
And they actually take Shamar Stewart. No.
Okay, man.
They take Jackson Dart.
Don't
kidding.
Dildo. Don't.
I'm kidding.
Jackson Dart is not a draftable football player. That's a lie. He's like a fourth rounder. But
I don't even
regardless.
think he's a fourth rounder. Because isn't that where Corral went? And I'm still sold on Corral being better currently than
fair
Dart can be.
But yeah, Milroe to Seattle, it makes a ton of sense across the board. As we get to the Texans at 25, and I feel like they have to go offensive line.
I don't.
Okay.
Maybe, but.
What are you thinking?
Okay, so their offensive line is weird. Not because they have a lot of great players, right? But because they just spent so much money on it. Like a lot.
Okay.
They brought in Trent Brown. They brought in Laken Tomlinson and Cam Robinson. Still have Titus Howard. It's not good. They also traded for Ed Ingram for some reason.
Yeah.
But I forgot they got Christian Kirk. That was my head was a Mecca Igbuka because they have Nico and nobody because Tank's going to be out all year.
Yeah.
But I forgot about Christian Kirk, which actually hurts my thought process here.
Yeah, I would take Wyatt Milam and not think twice about it personally.
All right, I'm down. If they didn't have Christian Kirk, I would be pounding the table for a Mecca, but it makes sense.
I just love Wyatt
especially
Milam.
because Kirk fills kind of a similar role.
Yeah. But you know me, I'm higher on Milam than most. I think he's
Yeah.
the best interior lineman in this class. He can do a little bit of everything, and that would help the Texans out a lot. As we get to the Rams here at 26, what are we thinking here?
I'm trying to remember what I did the other day.
Because I think one of two positions would make a ton of sense here.
Give me your thoughts. Well, I look at what I'm thinking of.
I personally, I would go either linebacker or corner. Like, just take Jihad Campbell. Or
Campbell is my first thought.
Yeah, go with Jihad Campbell.
Troy Reeder is a starter.
Yeah.
Oh
my God!
No,
a world
Campbell.
With 2 running backs and 2 Mike linebackers in the first round. What is this? 1983? I love it. I love it. It makes me so happy.
Is there anywhere else we can force a running back into?
I don't know. Washington.
I'll figure it out.
But no, like, genuinely speaking, with Campbell here, you know, he's the consensus #1 linebacker. I like Swessinger more, but I still think Campbell's very good. You know, getting someone who not only is good in coverage, but is a solid run defender and is really good as a blitzer. You know, the Rams like to get funky with their fronts and do weird things. So having somebody that they can send downhill would make a ton of sense. As we get to Baltimore here at 27, Geek, what are your thoughts?
I guess at this point, Baltimore. Is it Nicky Manwari?
Oh my God. They do it again, you think?
I mean, they need another safety.
Do they?
I think so.
Imagine they don't.
That'd be incredible, because then I could argue for somebody else.
How are we feeling about Ardarius Washington?
Not great.
Well, who's the other guy that you wanted to argue for, just out of curiosity?
Revel.
Okay.
I like both here. I don't really like both players. I'm not a big Nicky Manwari guy, but
I was gonna say the problem with that is, do you take another banged up tradesy corner?
right.
I would rather go Manwari personally.
Right. Because and again, Hamilton allows you to cover some flaws from Manwari.
Yeah.
And it makes more sense. So yeah.
All right, Lions. We have to be fair.
You sound so depressed about that one. It's so funny.
We have to be fair to the Lions.
Shamar Stewart.
Yeah.
Which is good, because I don't really like Shamar Stewart that much.
Which is bad, because I've started to like Shamar Stewart.
Oh my
God. It makes so much sense.
Yeah, no,
they need edge help. He probably shouldn't fall this far, realistically.
I think in my mock I gave them James Pierce.
Would make a ton of sense. It would make me a lot happier.
It would make me actually more angry. I'm higher on James Pierce than you are.
I don't like Pierce very
I
much.
see the upside. I do think he needs a place where the culture is strong enough to deal with him, and that's why I went with him. Is like, I think Detroit, out of all the places, can handle him, and I think he can work differently enough from what Aiden Hutchinson does that they pair really well. I think that was my thought process, but like, I think I'd picked Shamar Stewart somewhere else. I can't actually remember.
Yeah. Commanders at 29. And like I said, technically, if you want to get weird, we could potentially go running back here.
Neither of the running backs that I think deserve to go in the first round offer that much different than the running backs they have on their roster.
Sure.
They're better by far, but I don't think you just take I don't think you just take better Brian Robinson. I don't think that moves the needle.
Right.
If Hampton's here, sure, he's a different type of player.
Yeah.
But the two guys that realistically I think can go this high, I can't argue for here.
Sure.
So
I'm thinking Nick Scarton, personally.
okay, I'm here for it.
Just because, do you know who their starting edge rushers are right now?
Clelin Ferrell.
Uh-huh.
I know it because I was looking at it the other day. I'm never gonna remember. But
Dorrance Armstrong.
fuck, yes, it is.
Yeah, so as much as I would love Scorton to fall to the second round, it just makes a lot of sense here for
Yep.
Washington. Buffalo at 30. I feel like this has got to be a corner.
Yeah.
And I don't know which corner are we thinking here?
I think it's got to be Morrison, right?
That's where I would go.
I
He's the only one out of
stand
this
by
crop.
Revel is better,
I disagree, but
well, competition. Shut up.
I also just think he's a more polished corner. All
The
around.
injury concerns me.
Well, Benjamin Morrison is coming off a big injury too. If we want to go that route, like I'll
Is
be
he?
fair, and he is a player who is most well known for how fluid his hips are.
Oh, and he has a
in
hip
coverage.
injury.
He is coming off of his second hip injury.
Oh.
Yeah, like I'll be fair, and I will relay that information. I
Okay.
would still go with Morrison
Okay.
personally,
Fuck it.
but
I don't care.
okay, word. Yeah,
cool
I
with
think he's the best corner available. And
I
Buffalo,
have a very similar ranking on like my top 9 corners, so it's fine.
Yeah. Kansas City at 31. I know where I'm going here all day, every day, twice a week, 3 times on Sunday. I'm going Josh Connerly.
Okay.
Like they need a real left tackle. I don't care that they just paid what's his name from San Francisco. He doesn't move me. Josh Connerly can be a franchise tackle, and that is exactly what they need. So I love
The
him
Chiefs
here at
paid
31.
somebody?
Yeah, it wasn't like crazy money. It was like I think a $40 million deal. Give me 1 second. Let me get his name.
Jalen Moore.
Yeah, Jalen Moore.
Why?
Because they needed someone with a pulse to play left tackle because they didn't have one.
That's such
That
a
just seems like more
way
of an
to spend
insurance
money.
Move. Yeah, no, it is a bad way to spend money, but
I don't
digress.
know. I would have just I'm not gonna lie. The money difference means I would have just went with Wanya and trusted he could develop, because you have a lot of not great spots on this roster, and I don't think $40 million to a bad left tackle is smart.
Yeah.
Especially when I'm not sure any of their receivers deserve to be on the planet. So
yeah,
except for Hollywood, I don't think he's done anything wrong yet.
yeah.
He just exists.
32 with the Eagles. I know what I'm thinking, but I want to hear your thoughts.
The Eagle type pick,
Which is?
I'm not 100% sure who, but one of the tackles that can also play guard, because Kenyon Green's either going to suck or he's not. But Lane Johnson is going to retire someday,
Yeah.
probably soon. I know he just signed a 2-year deal, but I'm not 100% sold he gets to the end of that.
Yeah.
So I'm not really sure which one.
I know which one, because that's what I was thinking as well.
Who are you thinking?
I'm going Mendu here.
Oh, well, yeah, that's fair.
'Cause
He shouldn't have fallen this far.
Right. But I don't like Membu as much as the average NFL fan.
So send him to Philly and he's going to be an all-pro.
Exactly. You send him to Philly and it works.
Mm-hmm.
So
That's valid.
That is unreal that he
and
was there.
Philly gets him and we all go, God damn it, how did this happen again?
Yeah. As we get to Cleveland here, who, if
Who
I'm
did
not
we-
mistaken, this was Cam Ward. So what are we thinking for Cleveland at 33? I'm willing to hear you out here if you have any.
I'm trying to
If you have any crazy ideas.
decide if no, he doesn't make sense based on who their other guys are, is at least what I'm going with. Don't care.
I know where.
Give
I
me
would
your
go here
thought.
for sure.
I'm thinking of tackles. I'm thinking of defensive tackles also.
Ooh, see, I'm thinking receivers. I'm thinking about getting Cam Ward some help because right now, I've come around on Jerry Jeudy. I will
Right.
absolutely say he's a good wide receiver.
Oh shit. There are
Cedric
two
Tillman,
of them,
Michael
aren't there?
Woods, Jamari Thrash. They
My
don't have,
brain was thinking that only Igbuka was available, and I didn't love that fit because he's just Jerry
Matthew
Jeudy.
Golden, though,
I hate
as
that
your
both fell
field
this far,
stretcher.
but yes.
I love Matthew
I
Golden
forgot
here.
Golden was here because in my head I was like, I like Igbuka more, obviously,
Yeah.
but I'm sitting here like, that's just Jerry Jeudy, but again,
Yeah.
I don't
But no,
like that.
this gives Cam Ward his downfield threat. Like, he
Yes,
does not have a consistent one on the Browns roster right now. So, plus,
correct.
imagine the jerseys they'd sell, man. They'd win that fan base back so fast with Cam Ward and Matthew Golden.
That's true. Browns fans would be in so quick.
They'd be sold in.
Just
for sure, or bought in.
Just when we turned away, they pulled us right back in.
As we get to the Giants here at 34, who confirmed took Will Campbell at 3.
Yes.
So what are we thinking here?
I don't know.
I have devious ideas.
Give me devious ideas.
One of 2 players at the same position, quarterback.
No, why?
One of Kyle McCord or Tyler Shough.
Why?
Because the Giants
I'm sorry, I saw one clip from Shough at the combine where he missed a 4-yard throw by 80 yards, and I can't. He's undraftable.
Okay, so
no, I'm just
Kyle
kidding.
McCord, who is
I have
only
not watched either.
Okay,
so
Kyle McCord, 22 years old, good pocket passer, fits what Dable likes, relatively local kid coming from Syracuse. I am irresponsibly high on Kyle McCord. I really, really like him.
So here, my thought process is ending up agreeing with you, and I don't like it. Not because I like McCord or anything. I'm going to just keep saying I didn't watch McCord. I don't know.
Sure.
But my thought process keeps coming back to like trying to do the same thing I was doing with the Titans of, well, next year is this better class, but I don't know if Russ puts you in position to get one of the guys that matters.
No, you're going to be
too good. Weirdly, right. You're not going to be good, but you're going to be too good for that.
And listen, I'll put it to you this way. And this will make you like McCord less, but it'll tell you why I like him so much. I like McCord for the same reasons I liked Bo Nix. Except he's 22 as opposed to 30.
That's better.
So.
All right. You know what? I'm down to get funky, so let's get funky.
Yeah.
To me, if I was picking a quarterback here, it would be Will Howard, but that's just.
See, I don't.
I have
like
a weird.
Will Howard as much.
I don't like Will Howard that much, but I have. I don't know. Will Howard's an interesting guy. And there's
Will Howard. The best way I can explain it is if you only watch him in the regular season, you think he's a day 3 prospect. If you watch him only in the playoffs, you think he should go in the top 10. If you watch both, you don't know what the fuck to do with him.
Yeah. Dude, but there's something about a dog who the moment gets big, he's got that dog.
Yeah.
And, but I don't know if that's the spot. I don't know if I'd want him in New York.
The only thing that McCord really needs to improve, in my eyes, is his mechanics. And not in the sense of, like, they're terrible. It's just he has the upper half right, he has the lower half right. They're just not in sync.
Interesting.
Bo Nix was the same way. Brock Purdy was the same way. We've seen those guys quickly figure that out. I think Dable can work with him throughout at least the course of an offseason, if not a full season, to get that sorted. I fear I have a type with these mediocre athlete white boys that read the field really well and don't know how the fuck to throw a football correctly, but figure it out for some reason anyways. But Titans at 35, this was
my
the
brain's
Travis
being
Hunter
irresponsible.
spot. I would love to hear it.
A Mecca. I don't like their wide receivers. You get Travis Hunter, who might be a wide receiver for you, but a Mecca who will be. Like, I get Calvin Ridley's there. He's not that good.
Sure.
Traylon Burks sucks. They don't got receivers.
No love for
I know
K. Martin.
I know this is weird because they don't have a quarterback, but I feel like that's also setting up your quarterback. Again,
Sure.
you're prepping for next year. I also think Siobhan Revel makes a ton of sense here. I also think,
Do you know who's listed as their weak side linebacker?
no.
Draymond Jones.
Oh, interesting.
How the fuck
Wait,
does that work?
huh?
I mean,
I'm
they're
sorry,
running a
it just
3-4.
clicked who
so
that
they have
was, but-
Draymond Jones coming off the edge apparently now.
Wow.
Draymond Jones in a 2-point stance is crazy.
All right.
We got to give them an edge rusher. We have to. We can't let this slide. We
Ugh.
can't let it happen.
Does he? Oh, I don't know how the culture works, but does he just stay in Tennessee? I mean, there's so much upside there.
Yeah.
And
I'm
him and
willing to do
Travis
it.
Hunter, that's so, dude, if you can get James Pierce to be what he could be,
Yeah.
him and Travis Hunter, that goes hard.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I'm going to say James Pierce.
All right.
Unless you think as a Rocket, well, you already picked Pierce, so.
Yeah. I'm not
that's
as high
fine.
on Ezra. That wouldn't be the name I'd
Oh, that
bring
was
up either.
Jake, right?
Yeah,
Jake was
I
high
would-
on Ezraku.
Mammalin would be my guy. Here.
Okay.
Him or Landon Jackson, honestly.
I
But-
also love Princely, so I would have heard that.
No, I
Um,
think Pierce fits though. Jaguars here took Tyler Warren in the first round. What do
I can
we
just
do
keep
here?
bringing up the same guy's name every time.
Emeka?
Yeah, but also I think defensive tackle makes more sense for them,
Yeah, because Eric Armstead's getting older.
especially
and-
if you give T Law a weapon, you have to
Uh-huh.
then work on the rest of the roster, because like the other realistic option for them early was Mason Graham.
Yeah.
Since you're fixing one spot here, like I don't love their receiver room, but you can make Brian Thomas, Gabe Davis, De'Ami Brown, and Parker Washington. That's fine enough. Especially you throw in a Tyler
Plus-
Warren.
It's a deep receiver class too. Like getting a guy in the
That's
third
also true.
round. You know, like if Kyle
For sure.
Williams falls.
Whereas, yeah, you've got Devon Hamilton, Eric Armstead, and then yeah, that's what you got. I could also see corner, I guess.
See, but
But-
like you passed on Mason Graham and you take his teammate here.
Yeah, Kenneth Grant right here is
Yeah.
it's too good.
Yeah, it's
Um,
the value's great.
Yeah.
Raiders at 37. They took
I want to be irresponsible again. You talked me out of running back early.
Yeah, they took a corner.
They
right?
took Will Johnson.
They took Will Johnson.
How about another Johnson?
Is this where you want your boy
Phrasing.
to go?
Yes.
All right, I'm cool with Caleb Johnson.
Sick.
That works for me.
I know. I'm also really high on Scattaboo. I understand it. I just think if you're, because they have Zamir, they have now Mostert. They got a lot of just speed. So either guy works. I just feel more confident in, if Mostert sucks, which he probably will, the only back you have being Caleb Johnson can be okay.
Yeah.
Cam, I want a second guy. And so feature back Caleb Johnson. The Raiders are walking out with a lot of Johnsons.
You know, society. As we get to the Patriots here, we
Yeah.
took Abdul Carter in the first round.
Do you have thoughts?
I know you have a thought. I can't even
I-
see your face right now, but
I
I know
have-
you have a thought.
I have infinite thoughts. I'm sorry.
But I know-
At this point, there is no longer a team where I don't think Emeka makes sense. He's the best receiver in this class, and it's the second round. Every team should take Emeka at this point, but I'm willing to listen to whatever you want to say.
No, I mean
Um,
you went defense in the first round. It makes sense to get Drake some help. And like if you look at the tackles here, I don't love the fit with them. so
Mercery's good, but I don't think he's a good fit for
right.
them.
I'm willing to go with
Let's
Emeka
go.
here. I like
Patri-
that
I
pick.
hate the Patriots. I'd be so mad.
Uh-huh.
The Patriots ending up with my favorite players all the time. Oh, they get Drake May.
Yeah.
Oh, they get Emeka Egbuka. Oh, they get fuck them.
Yeah.
I hate them.
So I want to know, do you have any thoughts for the Bears here at 39? Because I know exactly what I'm doing, and I'm not letting you talk me out of it. But I want to hear your thoughts.
Landon Jackson. That would be my thought. is go another
Okay.
edge. But I
I
mean,
don't like the way Landon Jackson would fit in a 4-3.
that's
I think he's more
fair.
of a stand-up
I mean,
rusher.
I don't know. Our opinions on running backs are very different. So I don't know if that's where you're thinking.
No, it's not.
Yeah, I don't know. Are you thinking Ursa? What are you? Just tell me what you're thinking. I'm done.
It's not that I'm thinking.
Head.
I'm taking Josh Simmons here.
Okay.
He is the perfect left tackle for Ben Johnson.
Yeah.
Really athletic, really big, really strong, a mauler in the run game. If he wasn't coming off an injury, he'd be OT1.
I was gonna say it's been multiple injuries, right? I know he's coming off one currently, but there was one before.
Major one, if I'm not mistaken.
I don't remember.
Let me double check. I should have it written down in my notes. Let's see here.
But no, I have Simons as my tackle 5. I have Ursary higher, but
Simmons is my 3.
I don't think Ursary. I don't know. I don't think both of your tackles should just be Darnell Wright. So
right.
That's not a shot at Darnell Wright.
No, I
it's just I want my tackles to be good at different things and not just be the same guy.
Yeah.
That doesn't, I don't know. Because then you just get beat the same way, but twice.
Yeah. All right, Saints here at 40. I think that's another thing too, is the Saints early on passed on a tackle. So you want to get that ahead of the Saints here.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to pass on a tackle here, have the Saints take a tackle at 40, and then you're sitting again at 41 and your guy's gone type thing.
I don't know where my notes are. Did Donovan Jackson slide out to tackle last year after Simmons' injury? Is that the right guy? I'm trying to think of which guy also played tackle.
I
swear somebody did.
Want Donovan Jackson playing tackle.
I can't remember who I'm thinking of though. Where is my notes?
Like I think the idea of Donovan Jackson at tackle is bad.
I don't even know if okay, I know I have notes. I don't know where I have notes. My notes are not organized because I kept bouncing from player to player, or from like position to position.
Yeah. If I'm taking a tackle here, I'm taking Ursary.
So I'm not thinking of just a tackle.
Yeah.
So Ursary probably makes the most sense.
Because are you thinking about a guy that can play both? Just
yeah.
Ursary is that in my
opinion. You're right. No, Ursary makes. Again, I'm just also thinking I like Ursary and I don't want to curse him with New Orleans, but
no, I get you.
Unfortunate.
Yeah.
You make sense there, so go to New Orleans.
Yeah. The Bears here at 41. Yeah. Did you know that we have 2 picks?
Yeah.
Like almost back to back.
Because part of me has always has thought, depending on how things fall, this is the year where Miller might hate himself or hate everything because the Bears could trade up to 24 because of these 2. Like, if Hampton gets past the Broncos, I could see it, dude.
I wouldn't be mad at that.
No, but the in-division trade with Minnesota, you'd be upset at that. But
if it's for draft picks, I don't care. As soon as players get involved, that's where I draw the line.
That's fair. But like, if Hampton's there, because the Vikings don't, I think the Vikings take a running back late because it's a deep class. I don't think that. I've given up on the Caleb Johnson Hampton dream.
Right.
It's just dead.
But the Bears here at 41, I feel like you stick on offense, and I'm torn between 2 guys.
Okay.
Because I see one guy as fitting the specific mold better that Ben Johnson would probably want, and then the other guy I think is just better at football. Okay. But I'm high on both of them. It's Cam Scadaboo and Damian Martinez.
I think if it's Ben Johnson, it would be Damian.
Yeah, because Damian Martinez reminds me so much of David Montgomery. Like, he would just be that guy for Chicago.
And Scadaboo can do it.
Right, because that's the thing.
They're both similar.
Yeah. And honestly, Scadaboo's a better pass catcher.
I wish there was the guy who fit the Jahmyr Gibbs role. Like, actually, I know certain people think Henderson is, but okay, a guy worth taking early second. We're not.
There you go.
We're not going.
Yeah.
We're not doing that.
No, I think
the Bears aren't that dumb. There's a lot of good players on the board. You're not taking.
Yeah.
The running back that early.
I think the pass catching is what's going to separate the 2 of them for me.
So, My
Oh,
brain also wonders, though.
okay.
I don't know how the more innings eater, power backy kind of guy
Uh-huh.
also comes down to. I know you're stuck with Swift, but you can just
Yeah.
push him to the side. It comes down to, does Ben Johnson, and do you, because it's me and you taking over the
Uh-huh.
team, but Ben Johnson's still the coach. We're still building for him.
Uh-huh.
Does he think Roshan can fill that role? That's why in my head, if I'm because you're rocking with one of Swift or Roshan as your
Right.
other part of your backfield. And to me, I would rather rock with Roshan as my innings eater and find a big punch later. Because you can find you're not going to find Jahmyr Gibbs later, probably,
Yeah.
but you can find somebody who can do Jahmyr Gibbs things later. More speed, more receiving ability. I don't hate Scattaboo. I just, in my head, that means you're stuck actually giving a lot of reps to DeAndre Swift, and I don't want to.
Right.
But that's just me. So
I
you
definitely
do
get
you.
that.
I'm just alternate perspective.
Uh-huh. The only other thing I would consider here is one of an edge or even a safety, because Kevin Byard is,
Don't you
on
dare
the
take
older
Malachi
side.
Moore.
No, my brain would be Xavier Watts if I
No,
was
yeah,
gonna
that
take
makes a lot of
safety
sense.
here.
You also have a lot of injuries with your other safety,
Yeah,
so safety's
as
a
much
big
as I love
concern.
Brisker, and he's up for an extension too, so you don't know if
Yep.
you're gonna pay him.
I don't know. This is entirely up to you. I'm just.
Yeah, no, it's just tough because I mean, you make a good point, and I guarantee there's someone in the comments screaming, just saying, "Take Henderson, you fucking moron! Take Henderson." I
No.
can't. He's just Swift again.
Yeah.
He's Swift but thick.
Yeah, I'm big. Where is my?
He's my RB10.
I'm gonna tell you exactly where I have him. Give me 2 seconds. I lost my everything.
You know what? I'm taking Scattaboo. Fuck it.
He is also my RB10.
Yeah.
No,
I took Scattaboo.
I have him much
Scattaboo.
lower than because I've watched a weird amalgamation of running backs, so he'll go even lower. But there are some names above him that will offend people if I were to tell them.
Please share.
Oh, so the ones that could offend people. I think you were high on Devin Neal also, right?
Yes,
At least kind of.
RB7, RB6. Let me double check. RB7.
This one I know you don't like. We talked about it. Dylan Sampson, I have above Travion.
As much. Yeah.
Donovan Edwards, I have above him.
I think Edwards is my lowest rated running back.
Really?
I've watched 25 backs. He's my RB25.
What do you not like about Donovan?
I just don't.
Bro doesn't like Kenyon Drake, but again.
No, I don't like Travis Homer.
Don't. Why you say that? Kenyon Drake. Be correct. He's Kenyon Drake. I'll fight you.
No, dude, getting your chain snatched by Khalil Mullings and just.
I think I saw that and I refuse to watch it. I refuse to believe it's real.
Well, I mean, you can look at the numbers. He overtook him in the depth chart and became the #1 back because he couldn't make a difference. And then Mullings, who was still not great, just became
I feel like
mediocre #1.
What happened with Donovan Edwards when JJ McCarthy left should tell people what they needed to know about how other teams felt about JJ McCarthy. They had a quarterback who could make a play. Suddenly they didn't. And that running back he's a guaranteed first-round pick. He's the best running back in the world. Suddenly went to, now it's an actual team that can only run the ball. Yeah. Now he can't.
Fair.
But nobody thinks about that part. They just think he could only be bad.
On top of that, though, just being a stiff running back with bad vision, I'm not.
Yeah, I'm good on Travion Henderson, though. I don't think he's going to go in our little mock here. Oh, you took Scattaboo. Who are we on next?
I went Scattaboo. We're with the Jets. Who
did they take?
Luther Burden.
Oh, okay.
They also, if I'm not mistaken, are not doing so hot at tight end. That's something I would think about here because I like the value in round 2. with tight ends. Jeremy Ruckert, yeah, he doesn't move me.
No.
What are the tackles you have left?
I'm trying to
No one
think
that I'm
of
going after.
who's their offensive coordinator. Did he come from Detroit also?
Yes.
So Mason Taylor or Gunner, I guess.
I was thinking Mason Taylor.
You can't take Fannin for this team.
No, I like Mason Taylor for them a lot.
Okay. I'm cool.
I'm with that 100%. Somebody that can be an X or not an X, excuse me, be a Y or a U, like either or. It just kind of depends on. It's funny the way I look at Mason Taylor. I know this reference won't land with geeks, so Geek, you're gonna tune out for a minute. But in Pokemon, there are certain Pokemon that, depending on what you do with them, they can evolve into one Pokemon or a different one. So, like, you give them a certain item, or you level them up at a certain time of day. They'll be one thing, they'll be another. I view Mason Taylor as very much that, because he's raw, but he has the size and the strength to be an inline tight end, but he also has the fluidity and movement skills to be a move tight end. So it kind of depends on what you want him to be. So I think the Jets would have a lot of fun with him and probably make him more of a move tight end, keeping Ruckert as the inline guy. But the 49ers here at 43 do share.
Revel or Nolan?
I like Walter Nolan for them a whole lot.
Okay.
I think that is big money.
Okay.
That is big money right there. Walter Nolan as a souped up pass rusher, really traitsy guy, someone that will have a ball developing in that interior room where they don't have a ton of notable talent right now. Cowboys 44, they got Genty in the first round. I'd stay on the offensive line, or on the offensive side of the ball, and go offensive line. Preferably taking a guard to be
as
Zach
much as I
Martin
hate
replacement.
Terrence Steele, they don't seem to hate him.
And I just feel like replacing guard is a much bigger need than replacing Terrence Steele. And I think there's better guards on the board than there are tackles.
Very much.
So I know you were bringing up Donovan Jackson earlier. I would be okay with him here.
I was gonna say I like Donovan Jackson. I also don't hate Tate Ratledge, so
yeah, I'd probably go Donovan Jackson personally.
I'm very good with that.
All right, yeah, just get someone to replace Zach Martin. Like I said, as we get to the Colts here at 45, they took Colston Loveland, if I'm not mistaken. They did. So
I think this spot is too high for them to go center. They could also really use a guard. They lost their interior offensive line.
Ooh,
left at center. I mean, there's just Jared
myself in. I could talk myself into Jared Wilson here.
This high?
I could talk myself into it. It wouldn't be my first pick. But
would you rather have Tate Ratledge this high?
Yes, I would rather have Tate
then
Ratledge.
They need a guard just as bad. So Minnesota took theirs. Both of them actually. They took their center and guard. So they took.
So now they upgrade.
They took I don't know about that. They took upgrade. Ryan Kelly and then asked for some fries with that and received it. I'm never gonna get over that joke. I love it so much. So we're going Ratledge. We went Ratledge. Yeah. Okay.
Atlanta at 46. They took one of the edge rushers, Jalen Walker. They took Jalen Walker early
because he can be edge or linebacker.
Uh-huh.
I don't think you can pass on Revel here.
Yeah.
The talent's just insane, and they already have a true corner one.
Yeah, and not only that, he just this is purely just vibes based, but he feels like such a Falcon. Just an electric, exciting, athletic corner. They gotta have one. So I like Revel here a lot. I'm with that 100%. Cardinals here at 47. Oh no, you're giggling. What are we giggling about?
Do they just add some more meat?
You would want meat.
Maybe.
All right. What are we thinking here?
I don't know.
To go with Derek Carmen.
I mean, Tyleek's right there. They could also go with an edge. I don't love their edge room, but their edges are just injured. I think they can come back and be okay. I think they could also go. I don't know why it's not listed as a need for them, but my brain still says they could go safety or corner somewhere in the secondary. I don't love any of the linemen here for them. Offensive linemen. Yeah.
You don't like Jonah?
I do. but I don't want him to play for a bit, and he would have to start in Arizona because he would be their second best offensive lineman immediately, and that's not great. Jonah has a lot of flaws that scare me. I think he's got a lot of. I mean, if you want to go Jonah, we can.
Day one.
I'm
all in on Jonah.
I don't know. Buddha's getting old. Jalen Thompson, I don't actually know that much about. What do you know about Jalen Thompson?
He's a solid starter. What do you not like about Jonah? Why do you think he needs to sit? I'm just curious.
Yeah, I gotta find.
Because most of my issues with him have to do more with athletic limitations.
You know how my brain works. Athletic limitations are big, and when you are an offensive lineman for Kyler Murray and are gonna have to sustain blocks and move around constantly, that matters.
Sure.
Especially for this team, that matters.
Okay.
Yeah, the not being able to move around, because I'm fairly high on Jonah, but I really think Arizona is not a good spot for him.
Okay. Then sticking on the offensive line.
Yeah.
You have Jonah Williams as your right tackle.
Paris Johnson as your left. Yep.
Yeah, Jonah Williams is your right tackle for now. I would be down to draft his replacement right here, Emory Jones out of LSU.
Okay. I'm much more into that.
Yeah, I like Emory a lot.
Okay.
He is my last tackle with a grade in the second round, so I think that would be fitting. And I think that would make the Dolphins cry.
Good.
Because what do they do now?
They also need a guard, and I actually very much like Jonah's fit here more. Tua's not moving.
Right, but the run game. This is a wide zone system where their interior linemen need to get out on the move.
That's fair.
That's their number one thing.
Okay, second question. If you're the GM, are you drafting to help the coach that you're pretty sure you're going to fire in 6 weeks?
I mean, if I'm the coach...
Does the GM go into business himself, as you'd say in WWE terms?
If I'm the GM, I'm not counting on firing Mike McDaniel in 6 weeks.
Oh, if I'm the GM, I'm wondering why I haven't fired him yet, but...
Well, see, this would be our conversation at the table as co-GMs. We'd be fighting over Mike McDaniel, and he'd be sitting in the corner crying.
I think he can be a good offensive coordinator. I don't think he's a head coach. And unfortunately, NFL teams don't believe in just demoting head coaches. Apparently, you have to fire him for some reason. Even though he's just going to go be an OC somewhere else. So just
sure.
He's literally already under contract. Just move him down. Okay. Tyreek.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. A true space eater for that defensive line.
Yep.
Yeah. Me like.
Okay, now the Bengals have to get some defense here. They need a. Do you have a guy that you think fits the best here?
Ooh, let's see here. Let me take a gander at their depth chart again real quick.
Also, Minnesota's pissed.
Why?
That Tyreek just went.
Praise.
Which means I'm gonna just be irresponsible and go with my guy. It's done.
Okay. Let's go. I would love for the Vikings to take Azariah Thomas in the second round.
Because
that would make me so
as
happy.
Always, the guy I'm in love with is going to work out. So it doesn't matter. Hey, man, when do I miss? Other than the one time I listened to you, actually.
Shut up,
I trusted your opinion once, and it ruined my streak.
Yeah.
That's not fair. Tyree was good, but...
You know what I think?
Yeah.
Never mind, they just took Malachi Starks. Fuck! I was about to go to bat for Makuba. Thinking about...
Wait,
the 3-4
who
team.
took Malachi Starks?
The Dolphins. Oh,
we're picking for the Bengals. Malachi doesn't matter here. What are we doing?
It's almost 2 a.m, man. My brain shut off.
Literally, what are we doing? We taking Makuba? We taking Watts? We taking...
No, because I'm looking... I was thinking about a nickel.
No, they're not taking a
like
safety.
A nickel would be a bigger need, but there's not one here that I'm moved by. Ooh, Dax Hill is a boundary corner for them right now.
Move him into the nickel.
Uh-huh. And take Azariah Thomas. No.
You fucker. I can see you doing it, you bastard.
I'd go to bat for Noel Williams here out of Cal. He's like the last corner on the board, in my opinion, that can be a true number one.
Where the fuck is he on this board?
They're
there he is. Okay. I'm cool with that.
I like Noel Williams a lot. And, you know, like I said, they need like a true number one corner. He can be that.
Okay.
I think he has that in him. And then we'll take your little
wait,
guy.
hold on. I'm gonna look at the board again.
Okay,
I gotta be smart. I'm not just gonna take a guy to take a guy.
Bro thinks he's the board looker.
I don't know what that means, but yes.
The looker at boards.
So, okay. I have three thoughts.
Okay.
I have three thoughts.
Okay.
I would love Thomas.
Uh-huh.
But I also know that we just lost Cam Bynum.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to decide if I want to play this the way that would help me later. No, I wouldn't be arguing for that guy right here.
Oh, okay.
As much as I want to.
Okay.
Okay. My actual thing is, do you go the corner?
Uh-huh.
Or do you go Jared Wilson? Because Ryan Kelly is 32.
Right.
Go ahead.
Oh no, actually, I was about to say this is a little rich for Jared Wilson, but I was thinking of someone else. I would be okay with that.
But I think going into next year, I think the center position is fine for now. I think corner is very iffy, and I know this guy isn't a guarantee to hit either. But with Brian Flores, I am entirely cool with just here's 10 guys, find four that work.
Sure.
Obviously we know Byron works. Like here's, right now though, our corner room, we've got Isaiah Rodgers, who is going to be an outside corner for us. We've got Isaiah Rodgers, Mekhi Blackman, Najee Thompson, Jeff Okudah, and Ambry Thomas. We still need a corner.
Jeff Okudah found his way to Minnesota?
Yeah.
That's crazy. But
he is such a Flores guy, but I don't know if the big thing with corners is their confidence. I don't know if you can get that back, especially after what happened last year to Jeff Okudah. But so it's gotta be Thomas.
Yeah.
I'm too into it.
All right.
Give him the number 29 and change his last name to Rhodes, because that's what's coming.
All right. Broncos here.
Marion Hampton was their first pick.
Yes, they took Marion Hampton. Ooh.
What are your thoughts? What about second running back now?
I mean, they could use it.
They could also use a receiver.
We're throwing Devon Vele under the bus like that?
Yes.
I can't stand for it.
I'm sorry you want to protect the oft-injured 28-year-old rookie.
Respect Devon Vele, bucko.
No. But also I'm throwing... Who's their wide... Oh, no, I'm actually not going to throw him under the bus. I just remembered who their wide receiver 2 was, and that is Cortland Sutton.
Oh.
My guy's wide receiver 1.
No.
Hey, when they needed to beat the Bengals to get into the playoffs, who... In a contested catch situation, who did Bo Nix trust the most?
Okay.
He took what Cortland Sutton's supposed to do and chose the other guy.
Honestly, I would be down for a receiver here.
Second thought, it depends on where you're highest and who you think is the best fit.
Okay.
No, never mind, because Evan Ingram can't block. My brain was like, do you take Fannin and just glorified receiver?
Right.
That doesn't actually make sense.
Inline tight end right now.
Yeah, but because you have Evan Ingram, that doesn't. I don't know. What receiver are you highest on here? Well, you're highest on Jack Beck. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think you're highest on Beck.
I'm trying to think of the fit here. Because
I don't know. It's Sean Payton. None of them ever make sense.
Yeah, I mean,
okay,
you're mostly
he's
looking
got his
for
Colston
a slot here.
Yeah.
Because Cortland Sutton's your X, you've got Mims as your Z, so you're looking for your slot here. For my money, Besh would be the best slot here.
Okay. Yeah, that does make more sense than anybody else I'd put here. So yeah, let's go Besh.
And then Seahawks here. They just got their quarterback.
And they just got an offensive lineman.
May I suggest
Second
getting
offensive
him
lineman?
I was going to say receiver.
Oh. I don't know.
Yeah.
Cooper Kupp, JSN.
They don't
I
have
guess
an
who's
X.
3?
They need an X. I'd go Trey Harris here.
Oh, I'm
Replace
so
one
in.
Ole
I
Miss
love
wide
Trey
receiver
Harris.
with another.
I love Trey Harris, so I'm so in.
Yeah.
Deal.
So now you've got Cooper Kupp as your Z, JSN as your true slot, Trey Harris as your
Yeah, if
X.
Sam Darnold can't figure it out, fire him out of a cannon. That's
And
not
then
fair.
let
Their
Jalen
coach is
Milroe
going to
go
suck.
crazy.
I have no faith. I don't know who their coach is. I just have zero faith.
Well, they hired Kubiak as their OC.
Oh, I have more faith.
Yeah. Things
Okay.
gonna get freaky.
I mean, I don't think Sam Darnold's going to be what he was last year, but
Probably not.
I think he can be fine.
So Tampa went linebacker in the first round. I'd want to go edge here.
Okay. Who you thinking?
Princely. I'd go Mamelin here.
Okay. I'm in.
Get somebody who, you need some juice. Really good pass rusher, really good bag of moves, really good athleticism, good bend, good footwork. Somebody that can kind of rotate in and out early on. So I like that pick.
I've just
quite a
realized
bit.
I have set this up to where the Vikings could do my dream draft. It wouldn't be yours, but that's okay.
Okay.
I'd be hyped. We don't get
mean-
another pick for them. I just mean in
Okay.
general. I've set it up.
Sure.
They're in
In the
position.
meantime, what do we do with the Green Bay Packers?
Disband.
Now, I know what pick I like here.
I'm just gonna let you. I am genuinely too biased to want to help the Packers, and I acknowledge
Fair.
this.
I would go Jaden Higgins, and I know that would make a couple certain Packers fans very, very happy.
Please do.
Why do you not like Jaden Higgins very
Not
much?
that much. Give them another wide receiver 4 to add to their group of wide receiver 4s. More mid. I'm here for it.
Out of the receivers on the board, Jaden Higgins is my
Fair enough.
top receiver. So
No, that's fair. I just
I don't know. I think he can be a 1. I'm not in love with Jaden Higgins either, but I see the vision with him. I think he can be a 1.
Yeah, but we also
But
thought Christian Watson could be a 1.
No, I
Nobody
know, I know.
becomes a 1 in Green
I
Bay.
still stand by if Christian Watson was healthy, he could be a 1.
I stand by if Christian Watson played anywhere else, he could be a 1.
Also fair. So the Chargers took Michael in the first round. What do they do here in round 2, do you think?
I don't know enough about the defensive tackles who are left because that's what my brain says. The one guy I do know a lot about, I hate DJ Sanders with passion. So I don't know if you're really high on any of the tackles left here.
2 of them I would be a big fan of.
Then let's pick one of them.
Yeah, Alfred Collins is my guy.
Sick.
Reminds me a lot of Akeem Hicks and plays with like the intensity in both phases of the game that Jim
Okay.
Harbaugh would love. So I think that's a very fitting pick.
Okay. I don't know enough about most of these corners because I think this is a little rich for Kobe. So,
What did we do with Buffalo in the first round? They went Trey Amos, right?
oh, did
No,
they?
they went Benjamin Morrison.
Oh, they already went corner. Okay, who's
Yeah.
your other D tackle you like,
Darius Alexander.
or are
who
you high on one
honestly-
of these edges?
I would love Darius Alexander for them because he fits the one thing that Buffalo defensive tackles have never been able to do, and that's defend the run.
Okay,
So
Good.
I think that's a beautiful, beautiful fit. Maybe the best run defending defensive tackle in the class in terms of like day 1 play. All right, Panthers here at 57. They took receiver Tet McMillan. I feel like they got to go defense.
yes.
And I think that kind of comes down to which edge you like the most.
Does it have to be an edge?
I would say so.
I'm trying to remember the Panthers defense, and I got nothing.
I mean, they
So
don't
here's
have
my thought.
any good edge rushers. That's what I'm.
Well,
alluding
we
to
say
here.
that, but they also just paid DJ Wanham, Jadeveon Clowney, and Pat Jones. I'm not saying that's good, but they have actively spent a bunch of money there. What do you know about Nick Scott?
Nick Scott?
They're starting strong safety.
Oh, I thought you were talking about a draft prospect.
No,
He's
sorry.
Mid. He's replaceable.
I think I am. Again, I don't know a lot about the edges who are left, and maybe you're just very high on Landon Jackson here, is your thought.
Yeah,
I
that's
don't
probably
know.
who I would argue for.
But Watts or Makuba
I'd go Watts.
make a lot of sense here.
I would
Watts
absolutely go Watts.
is fair. I think they should go. I think you go the best player available, which to me would be Watts.
Let me
Especially when that's also a position of need. I mean, unless you're just that high on Landon Jackson.
I have the same grade on them.
Okay, then let's go Watts.
Okay.
Because they've invested so much in edge just this year.
Sure.
I'm not saying it's great investments, but again, I think if they're going to spend real capital again, it needs to be a real guy who projects to truly be a true game changer takeover guy. You don't use another second round pick to just get Patrick Jones, but again,
I mean, I think Landon Jackson could be a true game changer, but
do you? Okay.
I like Landon Jackson a lot, but
okay, fair enough.
No, Xavier Watts also very, very nice pick here.
Yeah.
As we get to Houston now at 58. Took an offensive lineman in the first round. They took Wyatt Milam, if I remember correctly. Let me double check myself here.
Who's their center?
Yes, me too fast. Patterson? Is it still Jarrett Patterson?
I think it is.
Yes, it is.
Also intrigued. This could be a spot for Jonah.
Yeah, because they don't run a lot of zone. They're a gap team.
Yeah.
So you replace Laken Tomlinson and Juice Scruggs with your first two picks.
Well, Wyatt Milam could end up being a tackle for them.
I hope
I
not.
wouldn't put him there. I guess no. I guess just shore up the interior of your O-line because I have the most faith in Patterson, I think. Okay. Do I? Would you rather? Okay. Put it this way. Would you rather go in with Tomlinson, Wilson, Milam, or Jonah, Patterson, Milam? Which trio do you prefer?
Well, Tomlinson was born in the 1900s, so I'd like to get him off the field.
Well, a lot
as
of
quickly as
guys
possible.
still were. But
were you born in the 1900s?
No.
I forget if you're right before the cutoff. That's why I brought that up. I was trying to make you feel old.
It works.
No,
I still think 1999 was 7 years ago for some reason. So
yeah. No, I mean he is 33 though. Like obviously not ideal age wise.
Okay.
I think I'd rather just get Patterson off the field.
Oh, you'd rather just get Patterson off the field?
I'd rather get Patterson out.
Also, to be fair, I don't think it's a good idea. But if Laken Tomlinson is that big of a problem, Ed Ingram is replacement level at least. So you can put Ed Ingram out there and not feel awful. So you're not going to feel good, but you're not going to feel awful. There's very different things. So Jared Wilson, welcome to the Texans.
I'm with it 100%. As we get to the Ravens here, who took Nick
Emmanwori
in the first round. Looking at this is Jonah.
Okay, yeah.
I am all for this being Jonah. Another gap team that isn't going to run a lot of zone. Lions here at 60. Already took their edge. As you're looking, they're saying their needs are guard, corner, safety, receiver.
Guard, I understand because their other guard is probably going to retire soon, but I think you could say the same about Taylor Decker.
Yeah.
Their safeties are questionable. Their corners are questionable.
I think I would rather. Well, no, because they got Terrion Arnold, DJ Reed, Ennis Rakestraw, and then Brian Branch plays a little bit there.
So safety, I would say, probably the more pressing.
Here's what you think about. Where would you rather have Brian Branch playing, safety or nickel?
Ooh, where would you? I think nickel.
I
Kind
too
of.
trend
Yeah.
towards nickel, and I think it would be
Nickel / box safety. Yeah.
right.
So I would want a true like rangy, deep safety.
Which is Makuba.
It really is. Yeah.
Yeah.
I had to look at who was still available.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's Makuba.
As much as I hate that.
Because you like Makuba?
Yes. I
Yeah.
hate giving them that. Commanders at 61. I would be in favor of a running back here.
Yeah.
I know you don't love him, but this will make so much sense as a Travion Henderson spot.
Fine. That's it. At least it's not picking him in the first round, which would be ridiculous.
Yeah.
And
tail end of the second, I think.
he at least fits the role that they would need him to fill, and I'm okay. I don't like him, but I think he can play how they need him to play, and I'm cool with that. I'm cool with that.
Buffalo again at 62 this time. Just refreshing my memory here. Benjamin Morrison, Darius Alexander. Ooh. Ooh. What do we do with them?
No.
What?
Man, I thought about it for more than 6 seconds.
Well, what was the idea?
I was thinking about Fannin because I don't love any of the receivers, but they have 2 tight ends who are similar, and I don't like that.
Well, I mean, if you're looking at a receiver,
I have another idea.
Okay.
I think you're gonna tell me you want somebody else instead of him.
Okay.
Danny
Stutzman?
Yeah.
I am absolutely going to tell you I want somebody other than him if we're going linebacker.
I don't know why, but okay.
I just think there are 2 linebackers that fit what Buffalo likes a lot better. But honestly, if I were them, I'd want to wait to take a linebacker.
Okay.
I just.
And who do you think they should go with? Landon Jackson would work.
I don't like him with his hand in the dirt. If we're gonna go edge, I would like Braden Swinson from LSU.
Okay.
I like Zach Swinson a lot. Just to give another idea.
Who are you? Give thoughts.
Let's see.
I'm open to all sorts of things.
I wouldn't be against a safety. Oh no, they just drafted Cole Bishop last year.
Yeah,
He's just not listed as a starter. I saw Taylor Rapp and my brain was firing.
Because Bishop wasn't good.
No, I know. But I don't think you're going safety back-to-back years in the second round.
Probably not. I don't like Buffalo.
No,
because their team's dumb because every spot they have a starter level player at basically. And that's like, it's easy when there's a spot where it's like, oh, they need a replacement here, but they don't.
Yeah.
So it makes it annoying.
Zach Swinson or Tuimoloau from Ohio State. Either one of those guys.
I haven't watched either, so I'm gonna default that one to you.
Okay, I've got a higher grade on Tuimoloau.
Okay.
So I'm gonna go with him. Chiefs at 63. They took an offensive tackle in the first round. What else does football team need? More linemen? Probably. Yes. Let's see here. Who do we have at guard and center? I like Marcus Embo. Embo, however you pronounce his name. I think he can play inside outside.
Who did they pick? No, you just said, but
they took Josh Connerly, a true tackle, whereas Embo can play
inside
outside.
You'd have to put him inside. Well, I guess you don't have to, but
well, I'm very okay with saying he has to play inside. I prefer him as a guard, but I'm just saying
because I'm still rooting.
Kick out.
I'm still betting on the world where Wanya does take over for Jawan.
Sure.
Soon. So, okay. A guard makes sense.
I like Embo here a lot.
Mbow.
And then the Eagles, they took a guard in the first round. I feel like now you got to go defensive line. See, did any of the big defensive linemen fall? Oh my God.
Who are you thinking?
Oh,
Sanders,
no.
just because he's there? I just don't. Wait. Sanders.
Because I was going to
works.
say Landon Jackson, but he doesn't really fit the edge that they need because they have their stand-up edge. They need a hand in the dirt guy like
Yeah.
Josh Sweat, and that's not Landon Jackson at all. Zach Swinson could be that though.
So I'm also thinking TJ Sanders is only good for rushing the passer.
Okay, if we're going that route though.
Do you have another name?
Yes.
Okay.
I have two names actually.
Okay.
Shamar Turner from Texas A&M, who actually has upside as a run defender.
Okay.
Or Omar Norman Lott from Tennessee, who was the most productive interior defensive lineman as a pass rusher last year. But he can't defend the run at all.
Which name feels more Eagle?
Shamar or Omar?
Well, I'm thinking more Turner or Norman Lott.
Both are names.
Yeah. Okay. The real Eagles answer. Which one's athletic profile has the higher upside? Who's the better athlete?
I mean, if we're just talking pure upside, I think Shamar has higher upside because
And it's Shamar.
He has run defending upside.
Because he's the lead. Like, no matter who the Eagles take, unless they were going wide receiver, they don't need he's polished, he's ready to go today. They are the team that goes, oh, high upside, mine. Because they can just let him only do the things he's good at and slowly learn.
Yeah.
So how do you feel about this mock draft?
I mean, I'm happy. The Bears got Mason Graham, Josh Simmons, and Cam Scatterbill. Like I'd be jumping for joy, clicking my heels, excited if this happened.
With the way I think that trade would go, with the Vikings trading down, having 82 and then 97, being able to get Thomas, possibly still getting like Norman Lott and Malachi Moore.
Yeah.
I would be the happiest motherfucker on the planet.
Yeah.
I know you're not as high on all those guys, but I could be wrong. We always are somewhere.
No, I get it.
But just the vision of what they could be makes me excited. I think we did good with every team, mostly.
Yeah, I agree. Real quick, there's your first round. Pause to double check it, read it over. And then there is the second round as well. Pause if you want to read it over.
What is going to make the most people upset?
Not taking Cam Ward at number 1, probably.
Well,
Titans are walking out of here with Will Levis as their starter still.
I think that's fine. Not for next year, but like for the health of the team. I think that's fine.
I think Bears fans will probably also be mad I passed on Genty.
I think that's the right choice.
I do.
I also refuse to accept Mason Graham getting to the 49ers. I would have exploded something.
Yeah.
I couldn't have accepted it. Especially because I made the goofy pick and stopped my... Dude, I'm so sure Mason Graham is going at 5. I am more sure about that than anything else in this draft.
I do like the idea of Warren going at 5, though. It makes a ton of sense to me.
Yeah, and it's exciting. And maybe they want more excitement. And I just think, Tyler Warren and BTJ on the same team, that's so much fun. Trying to see. I mean, did the Rams have a second round pick? Did we pick twice for them? I don't remember. No? Okay.
No,
maybe Rams fans will be upset with just a linebacker in the first 2 rounds.
I don't know how you could be when their linebacker, like their actual off-ball linebackers are not good.
That's fair.
But
it's all fun and games until they take Danny Stutzman in the 3rd round also.
True.
What about second linebacker?
But I think that is going to do it here. Geek, if you want to plug anything. by all means.
You all know who I am. Just be ruthless in the comments. I want you to judge me. It'll be fun. I want to read the comments later.
Judge him, not me. No judgment for me, please.
Well,
just judge him.
I feel like
harshly.
my Azaria Thomas take is going to offend people.
I don't know. People really like Azaria Thomas.
Good.
I'm not as big on him.
He's the GOAT. He's going to be Xavier Rhodes, but again, I refuse to accept any other answer currently.
Mm-hmm.
I may have rose-tinted glasses on, but I don't care.
Fair. But that is going to do it for this video. Thank you all for watching. If you made it all the way through, I really appreciate you. Please make sure to leave a like down below if you did. You know, it helps out the channel a ton, shows your support, shows you care, and I really do appreciate it. Also, make sure to let us know in the comments below what you thought about this mock. Are you happy with the picks, upset with the picks? Did someone fall out of the first 2 rounds that you're upset about? I'm still a little shocked Landon Jackson fell out, but it could happen. Coming off a big injury, it makes sense. And also make sure to check out Geek's links in the description below. Make sure to have all that. Also check out our podcast, Run the North. That'll be in the description below as well. But Geek, thank you for coming on. And to everyone out there watching, and also Geek, obviously, I hope you all have a wonderful day, evening, night, afternoon, whatever time of day it is for you. I hope you enjoy it because you're all wonderful people and you truly do deserve it.
Had a chance on the throwback. This was an ill-advised throw. What an unbelievable catch by Cole Kmet. And he cups it too. No movement when he hits the ground, tucked up against his shoulder. Wow. Using that